Test.
Before we start, once again, if you're here to speak for community input, please sign in by the door. Evening, everyone. Notice is hereby given that a regular council meeting will be held by the governing body of the city of Bertram, Texas on the 25th day of August, 2026 at 6 p.m. in the council chambers here at City Hall, 110 East Vaughn Street, Bertram, Texas. And I call this meeting to order. Roll call.
Councilmember Fisher.
Present.
Councilmember Predmore.
Present.
Mayor Valadez.
Here.
Mayor Pro Tem DeFrancis.
Present.
Councilmember Goebel.
Here.
Mayor, you have quorum.
Thank you. Mike, could you give the invocation, please?
Lord, we thank you for this day, for another opportunity to be here at the Bertram City Hall to do business in the city. Lord, I pray that you will be with everyone here, give them wisdom, give them clarity as they consider the things that are before them, Lord. And we do, as always, thank you for an opportunity to have an open government where we govern ourselves, Lord. We do not take that for granted. Lord, we especially think of today for Dolly Parton and her family as what a treasure. A lot of people think she was a national treasure for this country, Lord. So we thank you for her and the impact that she's had, Lord. I pray that you will be with our militaries overseas, particularly with the escalating conflicts that are going on, and then also with our first responders as they're here taking care of us, Lord. And it's in Jesus' name we pray.
Amen. Now the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Consent agenda items 1.1, August 11, 2026, special meeting minutes.
I make a motion, we approve the August 11th, 2026 special meeting minutes.
Got a motion by Betty, second by Randall. All those in favor? Passes. 1.2, August 11, 2026, regular meeting minutes.
Motion, we accept the regular meeting minutes from August 11th, 2026.
I'll second.
Got a motion by Betty, a second by Anthony. All those in favor? 2.1, updates and presentations, Economic Development Corporation annual presentation on EDC projects. Who's your spokesperson today? Glad to see all y'all here.
Yeah, well, thank you for having us. Good evening, Mayor and Council and citizens of Bertram. This is an annual update. It's been probably over a year since we last reported to y'all. There's a lot of new faces. There's a lot that's been going on. Should I be a little closer? Like that. There we go. Is that okay? Everyone can hear? Song and dance. If only. So we're here tonight to just give you a brief update, to share with you what we've been up to and the challenges that may lie ahead. But before I get started, my name's Evan Milliron. I serve on the EDC, the Bertram Economic Development Corporation. Katie Duke is here. I think we all know Ms. Duke. She's the president of the corporation. Ms. Fisher, Deanne Fisher's here as well, as a board member, and C.Y. Ingham. Am I missing anyone else? Just want to point out so that we know who's who. Okay, with that, let's kind of get into the meats and potatoes here of the presentation. So what is economic development? You have to just bear with me as we get through the first couple slides. This is what the International Economic Development Corporation, or Council, defines it as, and it's a set of programs and policies that aid in the creation and retention and expansion of jobs, the development of sales to build your sales tax base. That's how we're funded primarily, and build wealth in the community. Sorry, I'm breathing a little hard. It's been a minute since I've done this. So that's what the International Economic Development Council defines it. But, you know, in layman's terms, it's more or less to carry out the programs and policies that you guys set in place. So we're appointed to 2-year terms, right, with on behalf of the city council. and to seek out, to carry out what it says, the programs and policies and activities. So, and that can range in a lot of things, and you're going to see that this evening. I've already introduced the members of the board that's here tonight. Here are the others. Deanne, Rachel Parks is on the board, Leland Rayford, and Ms. Hernandez. So there's it's a 7-member panel that again serves 2-year terms at your leisure. So the goals and objectives, it kind of lays out our roadmap to operate within the parameters of the programs and policies that you guys put in place. So this helps guide us on, this decision making as items come before us, just like they do y'all. We have to vote, and this is our roadmap, the goals and objectives. So I'm not going to bore you with all of them, but you can kind of get an idea. There's a theme here. It's to build wealth in your community, right? Again, that can look a lot of different ways. It's not skyscrapers coming into town. You'll see that. I don't think we have any, right now in Bertram. But you'll see the other things that we do, the downtown improvements and just some other items. So, but this is the framework that guides our decision making when we're at the dais. So this is the last boring slide, I promise. How is the EDC funded? And this one's, yeah, there are some corrections. So the EDC is funded when you go down and buy a cup of coffee, right, at the local coffee shop. You pay $1, and then there's the sales tax that gets added to it. The EDC gets not what you see on the screen. It's actually 0.5%, not 1/4%. But and Ms. Hernandez sent, the checkout, or the checkout this afternoon. And you'll see it a little bit later what that total was, right at $15,000, goes into the EDC's bank account. So that is the primary source of funding right now, right, Ms. Duke? I think it's the only source of funding. There's been other times where the EDC's owned property and sold property and maybe made a profit off of the sale of the property. There's some right, interest on investments, just like you guys have bank accounts and investments. The EDC does as well, our investments. So, but our primary funding source is sales tax. Okay, so here we go. Let's see. Georgina, do you mind clicking on the link there? So when businesses are interested in looking at a community, typically they're not going to come knock at City Hall on day one. They're going to do their due diligence. Is it not working? If you can just go to City of Bertram or the EDC's website, please. While she's doing that, this is your front door, if you will, or front door map, or mat, some claim. It allows, it's a landing page, and it allows anyone interested, it doesn't have to be a business or an investor, but anyone interested to go to the city's website, go to this, or the EDC's website, I'm sorry, and you'll find it's a resource of information. But again, it's a landing page. So you have, you can see right here, there's demographic information. There's information about the retail trade area. There's information on just when the board meets and what the board's been doing. There we go. We're in business. Real quick, or not real quick, there's no rush unless the mayor tells me to quit talking. Let's go to the grants and the resources if we can. Yeah. So here we go. I don't know if many of you in the room are familiar that this even exists, but here's can you click on the retail trade area? Sorry, I'm feel naked without the clicker working. The retail trade area, while I'm kind of drilling down on that particular one, is a lot of people, or I did when I first got into this line of business, thought that you just, the city limits creates all your sales tax dollars, right? That may be where the businesses are located, but you have, there's not 3,000 people like that's on the population sign or whatever's on the population sign. You have way more than 3,000 people that do business in Bertram. And if we can get the link to work, we may not be able to this evening. There you go. Now, this is what, with cell phone data nowadays, you can capture and see where people are on any given day. They're coming from the area shaded in blue and trading in your community. And what they're trading, they're shopping at the Dollar General, they're shopping at the hardware store, the gas stations, Bertram Center, and the other establishments and businesses in your community. So I always like to show this slide because it's your city limits it's not, there's a lot more people that trade in your area than just your citizens, right? And that's important when we're making decisions based on, having business investments in your community. So, yeah, that's really all. We can go back to the normal presentation. So that's the trade area, but it also, as I mentioned, it has other contact information that you may find if I'm not from even Texas, but I'm interested in maybe putting a business or in doing something in Bertram, Texas. This is an EDC's website is critical to have, information if we're open for business type of community, to have that information available to those businesses looking to invest in your community. So. Yeah, Ms. Duke said we're in the process of updating it. So, okay, so outside of the website and the landing page and how we're funded, we also act as a marketing arm for the community. Betty and the Chamber of Commerce, they do an amazing job, and we look for ways to partner with them to continue what the Chamber of Commerce is doing, is market the community. I don't think we need to click on the video. I don't know if the link will work, but there's a YouTube page full of community videos, from the Oatmeal Festival to all the festivals and to other activities and events that take place in the community. And you may be asking yourself, why is that? What does that have to do with economic development? It shows that we're a vibrant community that's live and full of activities, right? We're not doing the other. We're not dying. That's important to businesses looking to invest in your community, because one of the first questions they're going to want to know is what, outside of where their employees are going to live, is what activities do we have in the community. So I think we're exceeding expectations there. And I don't mean the EDC, I just mean the community in general. So some other things from a marketing standpoint that we've been working on, and we'll touch on this as we go through a few more slides this evening, are downtown improvements. I think we've seen stop signs, Be the T sign, some other decorative signage, and some planters. So it's all about, kind of putting a polish on the community. And not that it needed a polish, it's just, we're preserving the Bertram that we've all, for those of us that's grown up around here, have got to experience over the decades. So this is just a map real quick showing the downtown area where you're about to see some of the slides, where some of the focus has been taking place over the last few years. Yeah, it is. I'm sorry. Well, we all know that a few years ago we had an issue with parking in the community, and parking on Vaughn Street. So I think this was a fantastic joint effort between the City Council and the Economic Development Corporation to help resolve that issue. And the parking was due to, having additional commerce in downtown Bertram. So now you have a beautiful parking lot behind City Hall that helps with the overflow parking from your festivals, from events at the Globe and at the Standard. So Katie, I don't know, do we need to?
I think we expanded the parking lot behind City Hall. It's free parking. We put up signage to make sure people know that it's available, because, when you're not from here, you may not know that it's free to park behind there. So we've done all we can to point that out to visitors.
Yeah, I like that. It's free parking. I love that. But this was a problem, and John Mayer knows best that that was a big issue. And now it's been resolved. I think there's been some discussion about maybe adding lights to some extent to light it up. But nonetheless, this was a joint effort in the downtown core to resolve a critical issue in essentially your business district. So we all are aware of I think the historic water tower. I mean, it is the town stamp, I think, and has been for a number of years. This is not your water tower, much like the parking lot. Well, there's not even a picture of the parking lot, but this is, I think it was 2 years ago, we worked again with the city council to light it up, and it's gorgeous. I don't know, y'all seen the tower at night, right? Yeah, it's beautiful, and it doesn't look just like this, but there's been talks to do, to make it this way. I'm not suggesting that's going to even happen, but this just again highlights the improvements and the focus that we've put, and when I say we, collectively, on the downtown district. So another great example of coming together and solving a problem for the greater good. The Be the T, you saw that at Johnny May Wheeler Park and on a previous slide there. This was a really a fun project, and it seems to be coming along quite well. This is another, some would say it's a park improvement, I think, and it also allows for, guests to your community that's coming, patronizing your downtown area, to get a photo op in. And so that's been really fun. And on top of that, the Economic Development Corporation, along with the Chamber and the city, you can see on the picture on the right of the slide, we have a decorating contest. Which is, it's a lot of fun. Katie, I think I'm ill prepared to really speak on that.
Well, I think we can say that it encourages the businesses. Maybe I'm not quite as tall. It encourages the businesses downtown and all over Bertram to decorate. We also purchased the Christmas tree behind Johnny and Jean there, in conjunction with the city, and Mrs. Claus over here was instrumental in that, and a few other Christmas decorations. So we're just adding a little bit more each year, and this was all started before I was president, but while I was serving. So this has been over a period of several years that we've done all of this work, and many have served on the EDC and helped with this. So. But it's exciting to see, really, we've got a lot of Christmas stuff going on and a lot of decorations. And I like to see the Be the T. We also have a picture with Odie, so it's a multi-seasonal installment there. I can, if you want. These are some of the small business grants that we've done in the last year or year and a half. A lot of sign grants here, but also property improvement grants. I would say almost all of those are sign grants. But these are, and if you've seen this around, we're encouraging the businesses that we award grants to put this sign out. And it just says that funding is partially provided by a grant from EDC. So this is all to make the downtown look nicer and Bertram look nicer and have consistent signage across town. Yeah, you can do
I think there's one more slide after this. So the purpose, right, of this slide is, I mean, it's, you're only as good as your weakest link, right? So in my mind, so it's you want to constantly be training up and learning. And I haven't attended a TEDC conference in quite a few years at this point, but when I did, I learned a lot. And I learned good and bad, and it doesn't always fit the community that you may be working in. But nonetheless, you gain a lot of knowledge. Now you need to come back to the community and learn how to apply that knowledge, and that's, I think we've done that in the last handful of years. And Katie brought up there's a turnover, right? Board members come and go, so it's taken a collective action or a collective effort to get to where we're at. And there's training available every year, not just for EDC board members, but also for staff and essentially I would say for a council member as well, or council members. I think we've had a council member or two go in the past. Yeah,
Yeah, Jim Craigmore.
that's right. So
Yeah, we try and have one or two people each session go to some sort of continuing education. And they always take something back, some ideas, some good networking, and bring them back. And sometimes we implement them and sometimes we don't. But you can always learn something even from much bigger EDCs about what possibilities there are and what things we could be doing that we're not doing. So that's why we do that.
take this one if that's okay.
Yeah.
So to end the presentation, that's kind of the fun things that we get to do. But there's times and you got to roll the sleeves up and really get to work. And y'all are doing that, the council, and we applaud you for everything you do to help advance the city forward. We wouldn't need to be doing what we do if we didn't have water. You don't have people, or if you don't have water, you don't have people. If you don't have people, you don't need an economic development corporation or a city council. So we know that's critical, not just in Bertram, but across our greater region and even the state of Texas. So we can continue to keep that on our radar and forefront. Also, to go along with that, assuming you got water to sell, workforce development. I've been out of the loop a few years now when it comes to economic development, at least as a paid professional. But it's I can only imagine it's ever more increasingly difficult to find quality trained staff. I know I hear it through the tea leaves of business owners talking. So that's again, and Katie, I'm not sure with your involvement with the school district, do you have anything to add that maybe could be going on there collaborative?
Yeah, I mean, I think we, as a community, we want to always, we want to develop primary jobs as an EDC. Primary jobs meaning people work here in Bertram, they live here in Bertram, they spend money here in Bertram, and then that's the trickle down, right? They go to the gas station, they go to the vape shop, whatever. They go to the Standard, in my case. So that's really the ideal type of job creation that any EDC wants, in addition to the secondary job creation, such as some of those service industries. But we do want to develop workforce and make sure that there are the types of roles that the people of Bertram can fulfill and without having to leave town. So that's something that's of big importance to us, and I'm sure the city as well. And it sounds like we might be working on a project very soon on that. And I think, Evan, your last bullet point is right now there's no city or EDC-owned business or industrial park EDCs often purchase land or purchase buildings or build things in order to create these jobs. They can also own property to make sure that the property use, eventual use, is in the best interest of the city. And so that's another key goal of the EDC, or key shared goal of EDC and City Council. So we look forward to those opportunities. We are spending some money, as you saw on the last few slides, but we're always very careful about not overspending on things like that, and reserving some funds so that we have those available if a big project comes along. We've also looked into funding sources and financial instruments that could be used to help purchase a major piece of property. So, anything to add? Yep.
She said a very key word, primary jobs. That should be what we seek when it comes to creating a long, sustainable workforce in a community. You want the fancy word, primary jobs. And I can say this as a small business owner. Owning Bertram Fitness, there may be one primary job that comes out of that, and that's the owner. You hire other people, but those are more retail level jobs. And those come with growth, quite frankly. You have to work, honestly, if you want to create an environment for primary employment, you have to do the third bullet point, or you need to be working towards the third bullet point. And that is having it doesn't have to be owned by the city or the EDC, but to have a place where there is some type of a business park. You can think of many places when you drive east of here, you see them quite often. Every mile you go down the road almost, there's a certain level of a business or industrial park. So, and that has been on I think everyone's radar, at least for the last couple of years that I'm aware of. We've talked about it several years. So, and that's where you can have a primary employer, maybe a manufacturer, a manufacturing type of company that has, where it's just not the owner, but you may have, I'm trying to think of an
10
example.
jobs
Yeah,
at
10,
one job.
yeah. I'm just trying to think, sorry, I'm drawing a
Say
blank.
it's a
but-
machine shop.
Yeah, a machine shop. So those are jobs that they're sustainable, well paid, typically with benefits. Those are the type of jobs that will really help sustain a community as it grows through the various cycles of growth. So I think out of everything, for me, it's just exciting to see kind of where we're at with that one. But yeah, that's all I had to add there.
We're interested in hearing, and I know we meet periodically with mayor and with various city council members, but we're interested in hearing and aligning our activities to the goals of the city council, and the mayor. So we're interested in continuing that collaboration and maybe meeting more often on that and hearing from you all. So any questions for me or Evan, or?
No questions? Okay, thank you.
All right, thank you.
We appreciate it. Thank you so much, and thank you for everything y'all do.
That was a good, thorough presentation. All right, moving on, 3.1, public hearing. Published date, August 5th, 2026. Notice is hereby given that the City Council of the City of Bertram will hold a public hearing to consider a short-form replat application of property located 401 County Road 269, also known as Unit 1, Lots 38 and D1, Sunset Oaks, Bertram, Burnett County, Texas. Application is requesting a short-form replat of property into 2 lots. The public hearing before the City Council of the City of Bertram, Texas, will be held Tuesday, August 25th, 2026 at 6:29 in the City Council chambers at 110 East Vaughn Street, Bertram, Texas. All citizens will have the opportunity to speak and be heard. Information concerning these matters is available for viewing at City Hall located at 110 East Vaughn Street, Bertram, Texas, during the hours of 8 a.m. to 5 p.m., Monday through Friday. Anybody have any comment? Wade, would you like to speak? Gotcha. All right, 6:30, we'll close that. I just like to hear Wade talk. Thank you. All right, action items 4.1. Discuss and consider ordinance number 266-082526, an ordinance of the City Council of the City of Bertram, Texas, amending the Energy Conservation Code of the City of Bertram, amending on-site renewable energy requirements, repealing all ordinances or portions of the ordinance in conflict, and providing for an effective date. Would you like to kind of brief the council one more time on what is going on with your building? 'Cause this is what brought this up to my attention.
Good evening. I'm Ernest Sturtley. I go by Skip. The Baptist Church, I'm a member of the congregation at the First Baptist Church here in town, and we're building a new education building. As the plans went through, the 2024 Energy Code was brought up as a requirement. The church building is considered a commercial building. It's over 5,000 square foot, and as such, the code requires on-site renewable energy. And for us, that's solar panels at a pretty good expense, and the engineer that designed the thing for us to meet the code said it would take us over 10 years to recoup our expenses. That energy code, again, is mandated by the ordinance, and that's why we brought it before the council, is to say, hey, is there any other alternative? Do we have to do that? We are occupying that building for 1 hour on Wednesday nights and 1 hour on Sunday mornings. And again, at a pretty good expense if we have to put in solar panels.
All right, thank you. So looking at it, the city adopted the International Building Code, Energy Code, all of it, to have a set of rules that everyone goes by. If you do not have a code, you revert to the state. And normally the state is more stringent than your municipalities. Looking through it, everything's going green energy. So there's a lot of stuff required that I think is unnecessary for Bertram, Texas. So looking at a way to fix it, spoke to our attorney, and he brought up some points. If you'd like to speak on it.
Sure. So, yeah, as the mayor said, basically, these codes are typically adopted with whoever does our inspections, and that's IOCA right now. So their recommendation was to adopt the 2024 codes across the board with everything. And these are international codes, so they're not just U.S. And they've been adopted for decades. So after conversation with the mayor, I went back and I looked at our current Texas statute with regard to specifically the Energy Conservation Code. And I found the provision, it's actually in the Health and Safety Code, Chapter 388. And right now, according to that code, the state of Texas has adopted the 2001 version. So it's 20 plus years old. And so that's the one in place. I am not familiar with that code, but I would imagine that it's less stringent than the 2024 code that is currently adopted. One of the reasons that you work with whoever's going to be doing your inspections is because it's the code that they're familiar with, and so it's easiest for them to go and make the inspections based on those codes. So that's typically why you go with that recommendation. There is a provision in the code that does not allow municipalities that are in non-attainment zones. For those of you who don't know what that is, that's places with bad air. So you're thinking Houston, Dallas, and actually the Austin area is. Williamson County is in a non-attainment zone, but Burnett County is not. So under the rules, we could actually adopt something that is, depending on the criteria, is less stringent than the 2001. But right now, the state of Texas has in place the 2001 version of that. So that would be our default if we were to repeal the provisions. And so the way that this is drafted was specifically regarding to the on-site renewable energy, because I think there were some appendices that IOCA brought up to you. So that's on there to adopt those, which would allow for amendments. I haven't seen them, and I don't know if IOCA provided them.
All they provided was a residential code.
Okay.
that
Well, the
I saw.
residential code is different.
Correct.
Completely different. And so that the green part, if that's what you want to call it, for the residential part actually comes out of the residential code, and it's a chapter. And I think the state of Texas is using 2016 for that one right now. So it's still a little bit older than what we've adopted. So it's really up to the council. Do you want to make the amendment? It's the repeal of the ordinance is not necessarily on the agenda, but the ordinance is on the agenda. So if you wanted to make an amendment to the amendment that's on there, and that amendment would be to repeal that, then that would be up to y'all's discretion whether you believe that is sufficient on there. Because we do have the amendment of the ordinance on there.
We don't know what the
2021
2001,
or
Yeah.
2001.
2001 code says.
That's correct.
If it does say that solar panels are required, which I probably highly
I
probably
doubt
doubt.
it at 2001.
But we don't know what that says, and we don't know if AOCA is okay with inspecting the 2001 codes.
Can I ask a question, Mike?
Because
It says they have two compliance options, the prescriptive method or the simulated building performance. So,
They can put in things like the lights turn off after so much period of time if there's no movement.
Motion sensors.
motion sensor,
They
okay.
can put in things like that saving, you see those on a lot of newer buildings.
that
If they
was part
put
of the,
anything like that in there, does that meet the requirement, or is there, like if one thing like a motion sensor, would that meet the requirement overall, or would it have to be?
I mean, that, you would need to talk to the inspector about that, and I don't know if one.
I think it'd
motion
have to be throughout the whole building.
Right.
it depends on the size of the, from what my understanding, but it depended on the size of the space, like if it was a classroom, the use of the space, and it could mean, because I asked that question, door lights, door frames, kind of like you have in your closet light when the kids leave it on, blah, blah, blah. Okay, sort of like that. If the room is empty, it turns off after a minute, like a pantry light. But essentially used in large classroom areas that are not being utilized, conference rooms, things like that.
Just thinking of,
In commercial
trying to think of
buildings.
something a little more economical than solar.
Because I asked solar panels versus, is there an alternative? And he says, not unless you adopt the appendix section.
I just, my house doesn't have any of that, and it's my finger when I turn the lights off.
It's residential, this is commercial.
It doesn't matter. It's common sense. So as far as AOCA, if they're willing to do the 2001, they do whatever we tell them to do, or we find another inspector. So that's the way I see it.
How can we find out what is in the 2001?
Look it up. And that's the thing. That's what bothers me about these building codes. You can't just go pick one up. You got to buy it. They're about that thick. I should have brought them in here. We have a copy here.
Our ordinance requires us to have 3 copies, and we do have those copies.
Correct. Every book is about that thick. And to find something, because the last time we had a problem with an inspector, I sat in that room over there and looked through and it took me forever to find it. I tried to find it online. You can't. You basically got to go through those books. So we make it so hard for people to do something with their property, and I'm trying to get away from that. So that's my reasoning for bringing this up to you. Oh, thank you.
So could we amend our ordinance to say dependent upon what it says in the 2001, or
Or should it be tabled?
or should we wait and look at it?
I mean, you could make it contingent on IOCA saying that they would use the 2001. That's the problem, and as the mayor said, if they say, no, we won't use the 2001, then you're forced to try to find somebody who would, and considering that's a 25-year-old code, I don't know what you would find. I did find some language, now anything can happen in the legislative session, but I did find where it is being proposed that at the next legislative session, which is about to start, that the state goes to 2024. So if they go to 2024, we'd be stuck with it anyway when that got put in place, which would probably, I don't know if they'd make it effective immediately or do September 1, but that's supposed to be something that the legislature is discussing next session.
And it's hard because there's no, if we could adopt our own, but if we didn't have anything, it falls back to the state, correct? But there's nothing else out there unless we went through, I mean, could we even do that and come up with our own building codes?
I mean, you can take the one that is there and go line by line. Like if you look, for example, the city of Boston, their amendments will be 50 pages long. Where they're taking stuff out, they're adding stuff in, they're amending the language.
And there lies the problem. Every page costs us what? $20 a page.
$20 a page.
Anytime we amend anything. So. My recommendation would be to amend it, put the amendment in amending or rescinding our current energy code.
So what we do when we adopt them, so it's the 2024 International, but when we adopt it, we actually call it in this case, the Energy Conservation Code of the City of Berkeley. That's what we call it. That's not what the actual book says, but that's what we call it. So if you wanted to repeal it, basically you'd be repealing the current version of the City of Bertram Energy Conservation.
And then I'll speak to AOCA about it and kind of figure that out. If I don't get a vote, so.
Unless there's a tie. And there could be a tie.
We had 18 before this, so we need to make it clear that we're going to revert to whatever the state has done.
I'm not repeating that.
But is that your motion?
That's my motion.
All right, we got a motion by Anthony, a second by Randall. All those in favor? Oh, I don't vote. Sorry, I was excited.
Betty, did you go for?
Yes.
Yes,
all
I
for
did.
it.
Uh-huh.
And if you want to, do we still have a copy of the 2021? I was going to say, if y'all need to look at them, they'll be in.
Have a 2021.
Yeah, we probably don't have it, so.
That's not a 2021.
20, or 2001, sorry.
2001.
2001, that's what the state of Texas had.
Not have a copy of the 2001.
So, AOCA might have one. So. But I'll speak to them. All right, 4.2, discuss and consider official ballot of the Texas Municipal League Intergovernmental Risk Pool Board of Trustees election. So y'all know we nominated, after Anthony volunteered to be placed on this ballot. So this is just an election to go on the Board of Trustees for the risk pool. If you don't know, TML is who we use. They handle all insurance cases, lawsuits, anything like that. I'm sure they do a lot more, but that's what I remember about them. So we would have to,
We voting for all three
Vote.
places?
you can do whatever you want. You can vote for none or three, right? Georgina? Yeah.
We vote for one per place, is that what you're saying?
One per
Okay.
I don't know of any of the other candidates that are on the ballot other than Anthony.
Is anyone here that's running for the board? Sometimes they show up and speak. Would you like to say anything, Anthony?
No.
But we can't just vote for one.
Yeah, you can just vote for the one
either
place.
guy.
There's a
You
place per place, or, I mean, I think there's 3 different places that are up.
Kinda
And this
hard
is
for
just to be
vote.
on the ballot, I mean, for that one place. This is the ballot for that one place.
It's not the actual position, it's just the ballot, correct?
Correct.
Yeah.
And it's kind of hard to vote for people we don't even know anything Thing about them.
People do it all the time,
I
but
know.
you're correct.
I make a motion, I make a motion, we have the name Anthony DeFrancis placed on the ballot for place 2.
Second.
Motion by Betty, second by Randall. All those in favor?
Can I vote against?
Do we have to do one for each place or just?
You don't have to do one.
Did you vote, Candace? Okay.
Vote Anthony?
No, I didn't.
All those
I'll
opposed?
vote. Yeah.
You opposed?
No.
All
Oh, God.
All four voted for.
Still passed, Anthony, either way.
Yeah, I know.
Okay,
Yeah, yeah.
4.3, discuss and consider a short form final plat application from Wade Bird for property located at 401 County Road 269, Bertram, Texas. Gary, do you have anything to?
We reviewed this, had a couple of comments. The last document came in yesterday, which was the septic approval. They'll have to go through permitting, but there's a requirement for that under the plating rules. So we have all the documentation, recommend approval.
Okay, thank you. We'll need a motion.
All right, I make a motion that we go ahead and accept the short form final plat application for Mr. Byrd at 401 County Road 269.
Second?
Got a motion by Anthony, second by Betty. All those in favor? That passes. Go sell those 2 acres, Wade. 4.4, discuss and consider Bertram Chamber of Commerce request for hotel motel tax funds of $10,000 for a visitor center.
Hey, I'm Katie Duke. I'm the treasurer of the Chamber of Commerce, and we are seeking $10,000 in hotel motel hot money for funding of the visitor center in Bertram. We just opened it 2 years ago, almost 2 years ago to this day, September 1st, I think. And it is staffed 3 days a week, 10 to 3. And the city of Bertram has helped us every year, along with Burnett County Tourism is the other major funding source in addition to the Chamber of Commerce. So it's kind of a joint effort between those 3 organizations, and we're seeking just the $10,000 for this fiscal year.
Would you say it's been successful?
Yes, I would. It's a great welcoming hub. It's a good information center. I think it draws people in. I think it deflects phone calls and inquiries from City Hall that we used to get at City Hall. Would you agree?
Yes, ma'am, I would agree with that.
Okay. And I think it's a great place for newcomers to the community to go, as well as visitors and tourists. So I think it's puts forth a very positive image of the city of Bertram and just of the area in general.
Thank you. Any questions? Anybody?
I make a motion that we grant the $10,000 for the visitor center.
I'll second.
A motion by Andis, second by Randall. All those in favor? All those opposed? All those abstaining? We already voted on it, but I'll let Katie explain.
Yeah. The visitor center, the funding helps pay for the executive director that staffs the visitor center, and it also helps pay for marketing materials that are handed out in the visitor center, as well as things like coffee and, various refreshments and various pieces that are handed out to visitors.
Katie, do you have a copy of the Visitor Center magazine you brought in just to show? Okay, they're up front.
It's in the library, if you're wondering where it's at.
Yeah, it's in the very front of the library. Yeah. It's open at the same hours that the library's open.
And I will say, I run into people all the time that have gone by, visited, and found out that there's other things here in town. So that's why I asked you if you thought it was successful.
Yeah, I absolutely do.
That answer your question, Philomena? All right, thank you.
Thank you.
I couldn't see behind Ted. I didn't know who you were. Oh, I'm sorry for saying your name out loud. 4.5, discuss and consider audit engagement letter, single audit proposal from Don Allman CPA for $24,000. Is Don here?
Alan is not
Or
here.
Alan?
Mr. Allman.
Allman.
Don Allman is not here, no. So generally, the audit generally takes anywhere, was 15,000 this fiscal year. However, because we've spent over $1 million in the various utility department projects with federal and state grants, we're required to do single audits on all of those different projects to make sure the money that was granted or loaned to the city was spent on those projects. So during last fiscal year audit, I asked Don what it was going to take to do the single audit because he has to perform one. It's mandatory. And he said that start making copies of all the bills, deposits, so that when he comes into audit, it's already together. And so I've been doing it all year.
Gotcha.
But it will be requiring a single audit, which just requires more work for him. So again, the price is a little bit higher than the 15,000, but it's mandatory.
And if you don't know, we get audited every year at the city. They go through every line item. Unfortunately, those audits cost money. So it's funny, you do an audit to make sure you're spending money correctly, you got to pay for it. Any questions about the audit?
It just says not to exceed 24,000.
You know,
So it could-
his price and his thing, that his letter of engagement is
It's actually
24,000.
24,000.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I make a motion, we approve the audit engagement letter, 24,000.
Second.
A motion by Betty, second by Anthony. All those in favor? And that passes. 4.6, Resolution 617082526. A resolution of the City Council of the City of Bertram, Texas, supporting legislation requiring county election administrators to offer annual election services contracts to municipalities for May elections, supporting the integrity, consistency, and professional administration of municipal elections, and providing an effective date. So there's it's going up to the legislature, and they basically want to make sure, let me find it before I. So what we're voting on is just approval of the resolution would formally express the City of Bertram's support for this legislative change and direct that the resolution be provided to state officials, legislatures, and organizations involved in election administration. It basically like streamlines elections where you'll have professionals at your election.
So currently, this doesn't really affect the city because we do contract currently with our county, but there's a lot of smaller municipalities that are outside Burnett County that don't have that same luxury, and they have to hold their own private elections. What that means is they have to have the poll workers, they have to have the equipment, they have to have all of the necessary things that it takes to run an election. We're fortunate enough to be able to utilize Burnett County without the smaller municipalities being able to do so. They lose that level of skill and everything that it takes in the funding required to put on an election. So they have to outfund it. So.
And the big thing is there's no fiscal impact to us. We don't have to pay for anything.
No money impact to the city.
So they're looking for our support.
Support,
Okay.
yeah, sir. Formal support.
All right, I make a motion and we accept Resolution 617082526 for supporting legislation.
All right, we have a motion by Anthony,
I'll second.
second by Randall. All those in favor? That passes. 4.7, discuss and consider ordinance 234082526, an ordinance of the City Council of the City of Bertram, amending the Code of Ordinances by amending Appendix A fee schedule by amending A 7.005, new connections to water service by amending A 7.006, sewer rates and fees, increasing the tap fees for both new water and sewer connections, providing of the repeal of a conflicting fee in the Code of Ordinance, and providing an effective date. Gary, would you like to, or do you need to?
Really, this is
We-
Adam. So Adam came to me after the last meeting we had regarding impact fees. He stated that the fees that we currently have for TAP need to be looked at. I told him to gather some numbers together and see what it actually takes to do a new TAP. And this is not going to affect any current ratepayers, any of that stuff. This is for new home, new water connections. This is who pays this fee. And those parts to put in a new tap are just gone up. And those prices in your packet reflect those prices.
So we don't have that. You can pull up. Just to give you an idea. So water, inside city limits, water sewer taps for, I'm just going to give you a 1-inch tap. Currently it's $1,200, sorry. And the proposed increase is $1,350. That's for 1 inch. And then outside the city limits, because we do have water customers outside the city limits, $1,300, and that would be $1,500.
So yeah, about $150 per increase. And it's basically the cost of that meter and then the tapping
That's
sleeves.
what I was going to ask. Why do you?
Meters went up for one, and brass is going up constantly. This is just strictly parts, no labor.
No labor, no, okay.
And again, it doesn't affect anybody,
Any
any
current
existing
meter
customers.
customers, no, sir. This is just new connections.
And what I'm seeing here is like our proposed tap fee is not much more than just the cost. Is what I'm seeing here.
Cover just the parts.
Yeah, that's not covering any labor. That y'all are just doing that in your day, right?
I would need a motion.
I'll make a motion that we'll accept the proposed tap fees in ordinance 234082526.
I'll second.
We have a motion by Andis, second by Anthony. All those in favor? That passes. Thank you all. Actually, before 4.8, because we're going to go into, do we need to go into closed session? Okay. 4.8, discuss and consider action, permitted water supply and expansion of water and sewer systems and supply options. There's no action needed. Thank you. 4.9, discuss an update on pending litigation easement disputes. There's no update, no action needed. Community input, Georgina, please. If I butcher your name, I apologize. Karina Taylor, is that correct? If you could step up to the mic, just introduce yourself, say where you live.
Sure. Hi, I'm Karina, and I live in Dove Meadows. Been a community member. It's going on 5 years this year. I've been a public servant. This year makes 34 years. I've been a school teacher. I am a school teacher. I've been a Girl Scout troop leader. I have coached, my husband and I have coached sports for our children, and they're now grown. One is 18 and one is 22. I love this community. I know we're growing. I'm part of the growth. I'm one of the reasons why this community is growing. This is my 5th year here. I'm just here along with growth. I know comes change. I understand that. one of the biggest things, and I think I mentioned, I am a cancer survivor. I've been surviving cancer for 3 years now. Thank you. Yeah, thank you.
I heard you just
Okay.
fine.
Yeah, did you? Okay. Well, I'm a teacher, so my voice projects well, so sorry if it gets too loud. Yeah, thank you for the recording. I completely understand. Thank you. Anyway, so I am here just to thank you all for the work that you do. And make it a point to come here more often. It's like I'm meeting celebrities. This is so cool, right? This is cool. And then meeting community members. And there's something that's up and coming that I just made a note of that I am grateful for is to trying to get exclusive Bertram ambulance. I had to utilize that a few years ago, a couple of times where I live in Dove Meadows. Just that, bringing up things like that. Of course, the ordinance for the parking, right? Although some find it it's a little discerning to some. It's definitely helpful for our family. I know 3 years ago, when I had to call the ambulance, one of our neighbors, they parked both sides crisscross, took up the whole space, so the ambulance had to kind of wiggle their way in to come pick me up. So we had to wiggle our way to get out. So in that case, I do understand that that ordinance is very helpful, right? Just to ensure that we have safe, clean, clear roads, right? I mean, it even got to the point where this neighbor literally ran over our trash can because they parked incorrectly, pushed our trash can out of the way. We have it on video. And then another family member with the same neighbor literally ran over our trash. So on my way to work, which I was late, I had to pull it out just to ensure that our trash was picked up. So that ordinance, although it's very uncomfortable for many, it is helpful in that retrospect, just as long as everyone's following it, right? Which is very helpful. So I did want to bring that up. Another thing I put on the list, again, hopefully that applies to everyone in our community, right? To make it work. And finally, took about 3-4 years, July 28th, when the ordinance was proposed, this neighbor is literally trying their best to abide by that. So it's hit or miss, but it's happening, which is nice, which is very, very nice. Another thing I wanted to bring up,
I forgot to say, you'll have 3 minutes. So,
3 minutes? Oh, okay, shoot.
and
Okay.
you're almost there.
Okay, so
Or you're there.
let me go down to the last is hopefully we can get the ordinance for the lawn ordinance, which I completely understand. If we can somehow get a schedule maybe for Dove Meadows, the Commons area, where we can kind of get that trimmed up. I don't know if that's on a schedule
It
or
is.
how that works. Okay. Yeah, I know. Hi. Yeah.
As needed,
Oh, just as you can get to it. Okay. Yeah, because I know it's growing, and, things like that. So,
Thank you. and it
okay,
was nice
awesome.
meeting
Thank you. Yeah, pleasure. All right, thank you.
Sorry, I forgot to say that from the beginning. You get 3 minutes. Christopher Snowden. Nothing to say. Hey, you're not in school. You don't have to.
Now you know.
Corinne, did you make him sign in? Did you make him sign in?
Is this Betty Pfeiffer?
teacher?
Betty
or-
Pfeiffer.
Pfeiffer. Betty Pfeiffer.
Oh, were you just cited in, Betty? Oh, okay.
Okay. Okay. Philomena Carr. You didn't tell her that, Philomena? You're sitting right next to her.
That she was not going to speak.
Oh, she did.
You know, I'd never look at that.
Okay, I was looking at the town site, and there's a department, Municipal Development District. Is that still something that's there?
Yes.
Because there's nothing,
Well, okay, that's a good point.
that doesn't say when they meet.
No.
There is a board.
So that was the Municipal Development District. It's a district set up through the city, and it's a taxing entity. So who here lives in Bertram, by the way? Show of hands. Okay, so in May, you saw on your ballot when you went to vote, hopefully all you went to vote, There was a Proposition A for a MDD tax. It was a sales tax. So that sales tax is what helped fund roads and all infrastructure projects. And it was about $100,000 that
If approved.
if approved, that was brought into the city. And we got it before, and the city voted against it. 64% actually voted against it. So that was $100,000 we did not get in revenue this year. Hence, if you looked at your budget, which I know a lot of you did, because I follow Facebook and I see all the comments, the property tax increase, that's actually called the no new revenue tax rate. If you looked, your last year's tax rate was 0.04417. It went to 0.04423. What does that mean to you as a resident? Me personally, it added $2 to my next year's tax bill. But that brought the revenue up, along with some other things we had to kind of do to make up for that 100,000 that we lost. But that's what the MDD was for.
So is there a public forum that you can go and listen to what they're talking about?
We don't have.
So that board met as needed when projects were going to be, because there was, so that was a newer board. It was established about 5 years ago, and there wasn't a whole lot of, it takes a lot of money to fund street projects. And so the money's been generated in there month after month, collecting to be able to afford and be able to afford larger projects, which they paid for the ribbon curb along the last street paving project that we did on, is that West Street?
Or yeah.
West Street. So they paid for the ribbon curb on that. So it just takes a lot to fund.
And we actually have funds left over from when we were collecting.
Yeah, and there's over $400,000 in that account right
Does
now that
anyone
will
here-
continue to fund
Does
street
anyone here live on
projects.
Brooks Mill Road? Brooks Mill Road is the next project to get paved.
With ribbon curb.
Let me just tell y'all why things cost so much. Adam, what's the price on Brooks Mill Road to get that paved?
Roughly 390,000.
About $390,000. Roads aren't cheap. Nothing we do here is cheap. You heard the tap fees going up. Infrastructure is not cheap. So
And why was that project picked, Mayor? Because that's the project that does not require any infrastructure like
Correct.
water, wastewater.
because we put off on some roads because we knew there was infrastructure coming through at some point. So there's no point to redo a road and then have to cut into it shortly after. So we actually put off Brooks Mill because there was a lot of construction going on that way. And now is a good time to do it. So anyway.
And to
does it-
answer your question about the meeting, the last meeting that was held for that board was during that project that was done a couple years ago. They haven't met.
But I'm glad you brought that up because, and I'm glad there's so many people here today.
Can you let her get through her 3 minutes?
Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead. I'll give you some more time.
So that board is dissolved now?
Yeah, there's no funding for it, so,
Okay.
yes.
So we'll have to meet again to expend funds. But yes, there's still a board, because there's money still in the coffers, so we can still meet as a board as needed when projects come up for funding. But the city hasn't approached the board for funding yet.
Do the board members have to be residents of Bertram?
For MDD, I believe so.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Because Kimberly Dixon is on that list.
Yeah, she's no longer on the
She's
board.
not-
She resigned.
She resigned.
She resigned at one of the meetings officially.
So we need to update the
Obviously, it just needs to be updated.
website.
One short topic, city council minutes, the last time they were updated online was 6/23. Since that date, there have been no minutes listed on the website.
Okay.
Thank you.
But since you brought up boards, I have in my hand right here, Planning and Zoning and Board of Adjustments. These are two boards that have been empty for quite some time because we can't fill these. So with you showing interest in your town government, which I greatly appreciate, we need these because the planning and zoning is huge for the development coming in. All these questions that come up, even what type of restrictions go in neighborhoods, things like that. It's important to get involved. So I'm going to have these up here if any of you are interested, because I'd like to fill these boards. And just following Facebook, because I pay attention to what people are writing. Get involved. Get involved with your community, because that's how you really impact, become part of it. And I really hope to see y'all, hope to meet y'all, because
And other than the
we're not
EDC,
construction guys up here. I mean, Randall is, but it'd be good to have some experienced people that can actually get on these boards and know what they're talking about.
and other than the EDC, John, those
Correct.
boards require living inside the city limits. And they're 5-member boards, 5
Thank you.
positions per
Thank you.
board.
Maria, that's a no, I'm sorry. I'm going to say your name anyway because I'm glad you're here. Maria Blackwell, thank you for coming. Ernest, did you still need to speak or? Okay, thank you. And David Hellman.
Street. And I want to thank you, city council members, for the job that you guys do. It's not always appreciated, but I do want to thank you all for the dedication for the citizens of Bertram. I'm here to ask some questions about the new code enforcement that blew up Facebook the other day. I'd like an understanding of what the problem was and the size of the problem so I can understand it a little bit better. Per the notice I got, there's no definition of what the public right-of-way is, so I like to understand that. How close do my trash cans need to be to the road? When I got this notice, I went out and looked at my trash cans, and they were in my grass next to the road and pretty much in alignment with my mailbox. So if my trash cans are a problem, so is my mailbox. So I didn't quite understand that. And looking at the times of this particular notice, I could put my trash out on Tuesday at 6 p.m., and it's usually picked up around 10 a.m. on Wednesday, which is about a 16-hour window that I have to put my trash out. But what's confusing is once the trash is picked up at 10 a.m. on Wednesday, it can stay out there, empty cans, until 6 p.m. on Thursday, which is 32 hours. So I couldn't quite understand the imbalance there. Full trash cans at 16 hours, empty trash cans can stay out 32 hours. So those are the issues that I'd like to have some better understanding of so we can be in better compliance with the ordinance. Thank you for your time.
Thank you. Hey, so trash cans have been a huge issue. Well, and David's my neighbor, so I got to hear this already. And I'll be honest, I could care less. I could care less about trash cans. That's not my deal. I'm worried about when you're going to get water, how you're going to get sewer. Those are my issues. But it has been an issue. Before all you came in, I received an email from another citizen thanking us for the trash cans, but we didn't go far enough. I don't want to be your HOA. So all these complaints that we get from people that get those letters, we get the other side too. So it's brought to the attention of the council. If they bring it up, it goes to a vote. What I will tell you is, speaking with Ted, who is doing his job, I feel bad for the guy because he takes the wrath of the town. He's doing his job. What I talked to him today about, and I learned this from our great attorney over here, when we're talking about laws, you talk about the letter of the law and the spirit of the law. And I like to use that in any rule we make, any ordinance. What was the true intent behind the ordinance? And I think the garbage can and obstructions in the streets, I think the spirit behind the law was to keep obstructions out of city streets. That was it. It wasn't how far can you have your trash can from the road. I don't care. I don't care. And I think there's going to be a little more discretion on that with code enforcement. But the problem we run into is Dove Meadows thinks that they're the only ones getting picked on, and then I get it from the other side of town that, wait, you're doing spot enforcement because you're only picking on me. I don't care. I'm tired of it. I'm tired of hearing all your complaints. Now, I will, and I'll try to address them, but those are the smallest things on my mind. I'll tell you that right now. But Ted and I had a conversation today. There's going to be more discretion involved. And like I said, now we run the risk of, oh, well, you're saying you're enforcing this with that person, but not this person. You know, that's what happens with people. People screw things up. So Ted's a good guy. He's not out to get anybody. He's just doing his job. So, and he's appreciated for it. And then I'm now having to fight off his raise now because somebody said he makes $70,000 a year, and
Did we read that wrong?
he does
You
not.
certainly did read it wrong.
He makes it's public knowledge, $52,000 a year. That's a big jump. Correct. And I wanted to address the budget questions, so maybe there aren't as many when people come. And then I had somebody reach out to 3 news channels that wanted me to explain why our city secretary was getting a 75% raise. She's getting a 0% raise. So all that.
Nobody got raises.
No one got a raise.
Nobody got a raise.
And if you don't know, the budget that I received, that I first started looking at, was $559,000 over budget. I cut $5,559 out before these guys even saw it. So y'all think we're up here just trying to spend your money? We're not. We pay the same taxes you pay. We deal with code enforcement the same way. We deal with the law enforcement the same way. So this is our town too. So if you have questions, we'll answer them. You may not like the answer, but I'll give you an answer. But it just cracks me up to see Facebook, and these are my community input, by the way. So,
You got 3 minutes.
We got 3 minutes.
so if you got a question, ask, because everything I saw was wrong on Facebook. And somebody asked me, why don't you correct it on Facebook? Because you can't win on Facebook. This is where you win. You get in front of people, because people are different. Yeah. Correct, I agree, 100%. So, like I said, code
I
enfor-
will say right here, today, my son came home for lunch and he parked on the wrong side of the street. I told him you get your tail out there and you move your car because you are not going to break the code.
Because at the end of the day,
Well,
and don't take offense to this when I say this, but rules are made for stupid people. Rules are made for people that don't care about their neighbor, and they don't care about anybody else. That's why we have to make rules. I would like to see discretion when it's like, okay, this is common sense. So that's my 2 cents.
Yeah, so basically the $500 is actually it's up to $500. It would really depend on the court. So I don't know,
Judge.
Connie, if the judge has set that one yet. But that's actually state law, up to $500 for those types of fines. Traffic violations are up to $200. Pretty much anything else is $500, unless it's considered a health and safety issue, which we didn't consider in that one. Then that could go up to $2,000. So that's a state law issue. No, but we have under the local government code, we have certain provisions on what we're allowed to do as far as caps that the state of Texas says on cities. So for anything other than traffic violations or something that has to do with something that is dangerous to the health and safety, our cap is $500 by state law. And so that's as high as we can go. So what we do in the ordinances is we just put up to $500, and then it's up to the court to determine. Like even for traffic violations, we're $200. I've got some courts that are at $198. I've got some courts that are at $70. It really depends on the different courts. Well, and it can be, and you can go up. A judge can decide to go up if there's been multiple offenses. So, and I do want to ask the question about and I know that you don't want to regulate cities. I've been on a city council, not the city council. No one wants to regulate that kind of stuff. But the reason that the earlier it's less time beforehand, because because, and then also why you don't want to have it in the right of way, because you don't want it to get hit and get knocked over, and if it gets windy, you don't want it to blow open and things fly out, which isn't going to happen after it's picked up, right? So that's the reason why it's shorter. I think they would rather not say it at all, but unfortunately, because of all the complaints that we have gotten from the city, we were forced to do that.
And I told you that. I don't have a problem with it because I don't care. If my trash just goes out, it comes back, and if my neighbor comes home, they bring it in. If they're not home, I bring it in. That's what neighbors do. So,
Ted's got a question.
but Ted, why don't you go over your numbers, please?
Okay, well,
I'm sorry. I should have during this meeting have Ted just hang out with you all. But
first of all, I want to kind of address one thing you were saying. That first day that I was handing out those letters, I had no real direction. I was going off per the code as it was written. Since then, the mayor has talked to me and says, hey, we're not gonna, if it's on their grass, it's not on the blacktop or on the sidewalk, let's not worry about it. That's what, they have that right to tell me. But when that first day, I had no direction. I was following the letter of the code. And also another thing I wanted to make sure of was I didn't want to be told, hey, you're just doing it in Dove Meadows, or you're just doing it in, I was trying to make sure, I was trying to apply it across the whole city evenly. But now
all right, Ted, you're an employee. You don't have 3 minutes.
Okay.
Give your numbers.
But I did some calculations today. I've been here about 10 months doing this job. In the last 10 months, I had 191 certified letters. Now, I cannot find a homeowner. All I can do is send you a certified letter, and if it's not corrected in the time frame that's allowed, I turn it over to city attorney. I've done 33 non-certified letters. Those are usually for grass is growing. Hey, just a reminder, this city code has it that you can't have grass over 12 inches. I did 44 trash can letters last week and this week total so far. Today, it was a lot less than it was last week, believe me. I think I did 3 of them today. Which is a total of 268 letters I've sent out in 10 months. Now, I've only had to turn 4 of them over to city attorney. And up to this point, not one of them's been fined yet. They're still pending. We had one guy that didn't show up, so the judge having to deal with that. But no one's even been fined yet in 10 months.
So 4 turned over to a judge, and you would, if you look at social media, you think everybody's getting tickets. You are not. Thank you, Ted. All right, future agenda items.
I just have a question. Was that emergency planning process on the next agenda, or? I would prefer it go to the following meeting because I'm still working on the preparedness. Thank you. The second meeting, yes, thank you.
Anyone else? Any future agenda? All right, this meeting is adjourned. Thank y'all for coming up.
I need it.
I make a motion to adjourn.
I always forget that. We got a motion by Anthony, a second by Randall. All those in favor? This meeting's adjourned. Sorry, Georgina.
What? I get yelled at by my wife because she couldn't hear you talking.
Oh, really?
His mic's not working. He doesn't want it to work.
Maybe I wasn't close. Yeah.